Hello everybody, I'm going to quickly show you how to do your hair and your clothes today. We did go over how to do your skin color, so I'm not going to show you that, but I just quickly read through my drawing here so I can show you exactly how to do your hair and your clothes. It's pretty much the same exact thing that we've been doing. You're going to start with the base, you're going to do your shadows, and then you're going to do your highlights. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting those in. First with the base. So the way I'm going to do this, I've got red, yellow, and blue, paint, just small amounts, and mix up some yellow, and mix up some blue. That's how we get brown. Mix a little bit more. Okay, now I've got a really nice brown. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to put my brown all around my hair. Anywhere that my hair is, I'm going to put my brown. Okay, I ran out of brown, so I'm going to make some more. Go. Anywhere I see brown or my hair color, this is just my base. All right. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush, and then I'm going to wipe it, and then I'm going to put in the base color for my clothes. So my clothes, I know, is going to be like a kind of dark blue. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of blue, a little bit of black, and then wherever my clothes are, I'm going to put that base color in. Okay, get on the other side. Here. Okay. So I've got my base, I've got my clothes, and my hair. Oh, I forgot the mask as well. mask, in my case, is just black, and there's not much form to it. There's no like highlights or really anything on it, so I'm just going to paint mine black. Remember, don't use too much paint. It's harder to control a ton of paint on a brush. Okay. That. Alright, now for my shadows and my highlights, I'm going to find my picture real quick. Okay, so for my shadows and my highlights, I'm going to go back to my picture. And you can follow the steps on how to print this out. It's under Google Classroom on starting your painting under current projects. But for my highlights, for my hair, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use a pen. You can also use a pencil, but you can see pen better. And I'm going to kind of outline where my highlights are. So kind of on the top of my head here. And then I'm going to highlight where my shadows are as well. Just kind of around here, around my mask, all down here on my hair as well, all in here, and over here as well, and on my eyebrows. Those are my shadows and my highlights. So you're just basically taking your pen or a pencil and you're outlining first on your photo where your shadows and highlights are. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my project here, and to make my shadows for my hair, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some black and I'm going to mix up a little bit more my brown here until I get like a dark brown. And then you can take a pencil and you're going to use your reference to draw in where your shadows are. So wherever I put that green pen on here, I'm going to copy it onto here as well. So I'm looking at my reference. I've got some shadows kind of coming in here. It's all down here. This whole thing is in shadow here. Shadow here. Goes all the way up here. And then I'm also going to put in my highlights where those are. So I'm going to draw up here. And that's pretty much it. Okay. So I mixed up that dark brown. So now I'm just going to go back in and wherever there's shadows in my hair, I'm going to put that. Now, this is the tricky part. In order to make it look like hair, I'm going to take some of our paint and I'm just going to kind of use this flicking motion to paint in these shadows. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush because if you have too much paint, it'll be really hard to control it. I'm going to go to the other side here. Just doing like these flicking kind of feathering strokes. I'll mix up more of this. All down here. There we go. Okay. So, just put in my shadows. I'm just going to quickly go over them a little bit again. I'm going to rinse my brush. And now I'm going to put in my highlights. So my highlights are going to be your base color plus white. So right about there, that's pretty light, so I'm going to put that in. And same motion as we did with our shadows, very lightly, I'm going to just put in those little highlights. I'm kind of using like the edge of the brush to kind of flick this in here. So down here as well. Not a lot of paint on my brush. Too much paint and you'll be sorry. Alright. Alright, and that's my hair, pretty much. As long as you have your shadows, your base tone, and your highlights, you're good. Okay, so now I'm going to do my clothes. And the same thing, I'm going to take my green pen, and I kind of already highlighted, but I'm going to look where all the shadows are on my clothes. So I've got some down here, maybe in here a little bit, and along here. And I'll show you how to do these folds in the clothes in here. So all of this in here is going to be in shadow. Now I'm going to look for my highlights. So the light is coming from the right here. So all of my highlights are going to be on the side, on the right side. Okay? So I have yellow paint on my reference. That's okay. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to mix up, since my shirt is really dark, I'm just going to use black for my shadows. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to copy that, what I traced on my reference here. I'm going to copy this whole line that I do. So go down, got some folds here. Folds are basically like little sharp kind of claw-like looking lines. They're very irregular, which means that they're not like a straight line. It's more like a wiggly kind of wavy line. And then here's my highlight, where I'm going to put my highlight. And then this is a little fold here. And this is kind of a dark shaded area as well. Alright, now I'm going to go back in with my black. Everywhere that I indicated the shadow to be, which is right here, I'm going to fill that in. Here as well, in this little space right here. Okay, so there's my shadows. Now I'm going to do my highlights. Same thing, we're just going to mix up a little bit of my base over here, plus some white. There we go. And now I'm going to put it wherever I said that the highlights are going to be, wherever I drew in the highlights. All on this side here. And that's pretty much it. In my case, it might be different for you. And I do have a yellow lanyard, so I'm just going to quickly put that in there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to quickly do my skin, actually, just so I can show you, just in case you missed it. But basically, I'm going to do the same thing we have been doing, red, yellow, blue for brown. And depending on your undertone, you'll have more red, more yellow, maybe even purple-ish. And make it lighter than you expect it to be because acrylic paint dries quickly. Acrylic paint dries darker than you think. Okay, this is my base. This is just the skin color that I am. I'm going to put it everywhere that I see skin. Not worried about shadows or highlights yet. I'm actually going to get a smaller brush here. Be careful around your eyes and around your eyebrows. If you do a light enough coat of paint, you'll still be able to see the pencil underneath. Just like that. I can still see the pencil. Okay, so this is our base tone. Red, yellow, blue, plus some white, and maybe a little bit of red and yellow. So now I'm going to mix up my shadows. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add more of each primary color until it gets a little bit darker than my base tone. Don't add black because then it will get kind of gray and it's not really pretty. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to my reference. And depending on where, like how much light is on you, the shadows will be more or less intense. So for me, I have shadows underneath my eye here, a little bit under here, definitely over here, underneath my chin, and a little bit on my hand as well. And in my ears. Okay? So, following that same pattern, I'm going to take my brush, take my pencil, and I'm going to draw in where all my shadows are. So underneath my eye, definitely on this side, and I'm not going to worry about my arm. for time's sake. Alright, so now I'm going to take this darker color. I'm going to put it anywhere that I have a shadow. Underneath my chin, on my eye. Okay, for me, that's all I'm going to do. That's all that's there. Now for your highlights, all you're going to do is you're going to add white. So, a ton of white. Until it's lighter than your base tone. So that's pretty light. I'm going to go in again to my photo. And I'm going to outline where I see highlights on my cheek, maybe a little bit on my chest, and if I were doing my hand, a little bit on my hand. Not a lot of dramatic lighting going on in this photo, so there's not going to be a lot of stuff going on. Same thing, going to take my pencil, draw where those highlights are. Draw lightly, very lightly, because you don't want to see the paint or the pencil coming through on your paint. Alright, so I did that a little bit too light, that's okay. I'm just going to put my eyebrows back in there. Okay, so for your eyes, very small amount of pink. And they're the same color as your base color for your hair, or if you have blue eyes, you're going to mix up a nice blue color. But for me, I just have these dark brown eyes. So very carefully I'm going to put them in here. And then I also have eyeliner on, so I'm actually going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to draw in my eyeliner. And then you can also do your pupil, which is the black part of your eye. And then for a little highlight in your eye, you can take some white, very small amount of white on your paintbrush. And you can do a tiny little dot. It just adds some dimension and light to your eye. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to Sharpie the rest of this. So including everything on my face here, not the, like don't outline, the lines where you put your shadows. Just outline, your eyebrows, your eyes, your hair, ears, mask, clothes, So don't outline all the like guidelines where you put your shadows and stuff. Just outline you. Okay. That is the gist of it. If you need to rewatch it or go back and look at some parts, you can for sure. Basically, everything we do here is going to be your base tone, your shadows, and your highlights. That's everything that we do. Okay. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm here. Miss Brittany's here. If you're struggling with your project, please, tell me and I will work one-on-one with you and we'll figure it out. Okay? All right. Thank you.